Welcome back to math class, everybody. Tiis na lang tayo kasi po, last two problems na to. Pero kaya namin to Last two problems. Good luck. Have faith in God when doing this, alright? So now let's answer the question. Malsi draws a fighter sub that looks like this. So ito yung itsura. If you were to look at the picture, ito yung ginaguhit ni Patrick Malmström. Yan. And actually, to be honest, Patrick Malmström is my cousin. But never mind about that. I don't want to tell you a biography. We have to go to the math, okay? Help him solve for the following. Use geometry skills to help. So yan, based on the drawing, don't look at the drawing, but just follow the instructions, alright? Like letter A, the perimeter of the rectangle from fighter sub's body is 3 times a number squared plus 1 decimeters. The width is a number squared decimeters, while the length is thrice a number less than 2 decimeters. So, for the area, ayan, we do not know, we know that this is perimeter kasi po, diba remember, it's like this. Diba remember we have a rectangle, diba? Ito yung rectangle nila. Diba remember the perimeter is, what's the perimeter? 3 times a number squared plus 1 decimeter. Yan, that is the perimeter. Okay? But you do not know what x is. Tapos, sabi sa condition, the width and the length. The width is a number squared plus 2 a number squared. Diba, remember this, the width. So, ito yung width, diba? Width is a number squared. This is the width, diba? X squared, a number squared. So, ito yun. Yan. So, x squared plus x squared. Okay? X squared plus x squared, alright? Tapos, a number squared decimeters. While the length is thrice a number squared, thrice a number less than 2 decimeters. So, thrice a number, 3x minus 2. Yan. So, this should be your equation. And then, when you add this up all together, you should get to the perimeter. So, here's the formula that I did. So, if I remember the 3x squared plus 1, that is your perimeter. And then, the reason why I did 2x squared, because diba normally you can do x squared plus x squared. But combining like terms will give you 2x squared. Yan, because you need to add the 2 lengths and the 2 widths. And then 3x squared, 3x minus 2 plus 3x minus 2, diba remember you can combine like terms. That can be 3x plus 3x is 6x. And then negative 2 plus negative 2, edi negative 4. So, hence, ito yung sagot. Even if we were to multiply, ganito yung sagot. So, yan. That is our equation. And then, we set it equal to 0. Ganito siya. Isolate the variables and move it to the left side. So, from positive 2x squared, it becomes negative 2x squared. From positive 6 becomes negative 6. From negative 4 becomes positive 4. Then plus 1. Be sure to check your signs before you solve for the answer, okay? Because you may never know if you get the wrong answer. Then with that, it might be a bit of a complex or messy equation to you. However, you can play a game called simplifying like terms. So ito yun. X squared minus 6x plus 5. And then this is what you do. Remember, you ended up with a quadratic equation. So once you're already in a quadratic equation, the thing that you must do is to set it equal to 0. Just like that. And then look for 2 numbers that you can add and multiply to give you those numbers. That add to give you negative 6 and that multiply to give you positive 5. And the numbers that we got are negative 1 and negative 5. Is that correct? Look at this. X times x is x squared. Negative 1 times negative plus negative 5, that's negative 6x. Diba? Negative 1 times x, negative 1x. Negative 5 times x, negative 5x. Playing the FOIL game. And then, negative 1 times negative 5, positive 5. So, tama, yun yung sagot. Now, which among these answers is correct? We get 1 or 5. If we try 1, ganito yun. If we plug 1 back into our equation, 1 squared is just 1. 3 times 1 plus 1 is 4. Tama? 1 squared plus 1 squared, di ba remember ganito siya? If we do this, 1 squared plus 1 squared plus 3 times 1 minus 2, and then plus, yan. This is 1, this is 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 2 is 1. 3 times 1 is 3 again. Minus 2 is also 1. You should get 4. Tama? Is it still the same with the perimeter? Remember, 3, 1 squared plus 1. 1 squared is just 1. 3 times 1 is just 4. It's just 3. Plus 1, 4. So this checks. Alright? But I think that might be a bit too few. So we want the majority one. How about let's try 5. If we do 5, 5 squared is 25. Times 3 is 75. Plus 1 is 76. Now we do it for the rest. You know that's 25 here, 25 there. Then 3 times 25, then 3 times 5, 15. So yeah, di ba remember we should get 76. So 25 plus 25, that's 50, right? And then 3 times 5 is 15, minus 2 is 13. So 63 plus another 13, edi 76. So we still got the same answer. Now going back to our solution sheet, ito yung sagot. Wait lang ha. So ito yung formula na ginawa ko. This is the algebra for fighter sub's body. X squared plus x squared plus 3x minus 2 plus 3x minus 2 is equivalent to the perimeter. Remember what we did here? We combined like terms, tama? And it should look like this. And then set equal to 0, tama? Then 3x squared minus 2x squared is x squared. 6x, bring it to the other side, so that's about negative 6x. Alright? And then that should be positive 5. Tama. It can either be 5. Okay? So that's the answer. We still get the same answer, alright? Yun. But we're still not yet done. Kasi po, we still need to solve for the area. To solve for the area, di ba sabi dito, ang solve namin ay yung area. Solve for the area. So remember, we got this in decimeters. So this is 13. This is 25. So 25 times 13. Alright? So 13 times 25. And what's the answer? Let's go to Excel and find out. Yan. So this is the formula. Ang ginawa ko dito, 13 asterisk 25. And you should get 325 square decimeters. At yun yung sagot. Okay? That's for part 1. Now let's go to part B. There's still more problems here. The fins of fighter sub form a right isosceles triangle whose hypotenuse measures 240 millimeters. Solve for the perimeter and area. Ayan. Di ba remember, now we're talking about the fins. Ito yun. Ito yung tinutukoy ko. Nakita mo to? Those are the fins. So it's our job to solve for the perimeter and area for each one. But not both, but only one of them. So di ba remember, this is the right triangle, di ba? It says the right isosceles triangle. When we say isosceles triangle, one angle, one side has a different measure, but both of them are the same. But the clue there is the hypotenuse measures 240 mm. Alright? So yun. Now it's our job to solve for both. And if you can still remember our proportion when it comes to proportion when it comes to 45, 90 degree triangle, we know that this is the given relationship. Tama? We know that this is x and this is x. And then this one is x times the square root of 2. So therefore, if you want to get the inverse, di ba remember, we need to get x. So if this is 240, so it goes like this. X times square root of 2 is equivalent to 240. We need to divide it by the square root of 2 to get the answer. If you don't want to use a calculator, you can do it like this. 240 times the square root of 2 times square root of 2 times square root of 2. Just like that. And 240 times square root of 2, and then square root of 2 times square root of 2 is square root of 4. And that simplifies to 2. Then that would be 120 times the square root of 2. Yun talaga yung sagot. So therefore, in the bottom, it should be 120 times the square root of 2. Then 120 times the square root of 2. So ganito siya. Going back to our solution sheet, ito yun. Yes, it should be here. Nasaan ba yun? Ito yun. So here's the formula. If I remember here, we have 240 degrees. 240 millimeters, tama? And then this one, we divide by the square root of 2. So this is our formula. I click on the cell here, and then divide by the square root of 2. And we should get this answer. Yeah, so that's the answer. You can do it either way. Divide by the square root of 2, or you can do it this way. 120, asterisk, SQRT, the code, then choose the number that you want to take the square root of, and you should get the same answer of 169.705. At saka yun yung sagot. And then after that, this is what you do. Diba sabi dito, it's our job to solve for the perimeter and area. To solve for the perimeter is sum mo yung tatlo, which are this. Click on the sum, and then sum of everything. You should get 579.41125 millimeters. And then for the area, base times height divide by 2. Madali lang yan. This one, what I did here, I did the product of both, and then divide by 2. That should be our area. Yan. Okay? Now, is there anything else? Yan. Next, letter C. If you're going to put a fighter sub inside a hemisphere whose circumference is of one circle is a number squared deducted by a number multiplied by 7, which is also being deducted by 10.08 feet, do you think he would fit inside? The extended dimension of the character measures 150 centimeters. Ayan. This might be a bit of a tricky problem. Pero let's work this out one by one. First, let's not think about putting him in first. We need to calculate the capacity. Kasi po it says here, we're gonna put fighter sub inside a hemisphere. Diba? Ito yun, diba? So, ganito siya. Ito yung hemisphere. Hemisphere na tinutukoy ko. This is the hemisphere. It says here, one circle is a number squared. This is the circle, diba? It's a number squared be deducted by a number multiplied by 7, which is 7x, which is also being deducted by 10.08. So, yun po yung sagot. Now, this is already how it will go. And then, it says here, ayan, so that is our circumference of the circle. So, di ba remember ito yung circumference ng circle? The circumference of a circle is pi times t is equivalent to c. Tama? Or pi times 2r, either way. Tama? But since we need the radius, we need to get the value of r. So, first, let's do this first. If I remember, pi times d is equivalent to c. Let me lay it down muna, ha? So, yan. So, this is our formula. 3.14 times the diameter, which we don't know, is equivalent to the number, or maybe 2r na lang, para to be safe, okay? Times 2r, is, because I know naman, baka malimot, it's radius eh. Times r squared minus 7r minus 10.08. So, ganito yun. Now, we're back to quadratic equations. So, this should be 6.28r minus r squared 7r 10.08. Tama? Then, we shift this to the other side. So, r squared 7 minus 6.28 is equivalent to, ayan, kasi nga for adding, it should be adding. So, therefore, this should be 13.28 r minus 10.08. Then, we apply the quadratic equation. Because we set it equal to 0, right? I think I have a solution sheet here in the solution. Wait lang ah. Ayan, so that is the circumference. Circumference is 3.14 times 2r. And then this is what I did. Tama? Then this is what I did. Ah, yes. This was the quadratic equation. I factored this out, 14 times 0.72 to give you 10.08. Kasi if I were to product this out, it should be like this. Equal 14 times 0.72. We should get the answer of 10.08. So that should be our answer. Alright? So you keep that answer in store. And I will explain to you in the next video.